All right, we're rolling. What's up, guys? So this is the Dubcast. We're basically just three lifelong friends from Weathersfield, Connecticut, who are just doing this for fun, trying to talk some sports, and yeah. So we're just gonna get right into it. So unless you guys have anything to add,
No, I mean, let's do it. It's really what it is.
probably should do introductions. I'm Holden.
Kevin,
Riley.
how's it going?
All right.
Monumental day.
Big day.
All right, so we're gonna start with football. So this past weekend we had the AFC and NFC championship. We're just gonna go into that because there's a lot to decipher here. So
Quite a bit.
starting with the AFC, the question is, did the Bills ever have a chance? Riley, you could start.
So I think the Bills going into this game were kind of screwed going in, I think, really, because you had a healthy Patrick Mahomes, which it ended up being a healthy Patrick Mahomes. And then you had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce just completely dominate as they always do. I think the only thing you can give the Bills before this game was you wanted to count on Patrick Mahomes not being healthy, and you wanted to have him be concussed as a Bills fan. But, well, you don't actually want that. But as a Bills fan, you were kind of hoping that your only chance of winning was really if Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing this game. And as we all saw, Patrick Mahomes just was very healthy. He tore it up. And I think with that, you didn't have a chance. I think if you had Chad Henne playing that game, you had a great chance of winning because you had an offense that is powered by Mahomes, who isn't there. Like, he's not there. He's the nucleus of that offense. And if he's not there, they kind of, I think, will crumble. I mean, yeah, you saw at the end of the Browns game, Chad Henne had a couple of good plays to save them, but you're not going to win four quarters with Henne enough to outlast the Bills, who have a very good, strong offense. So I really don't think the Bills ever had a chance. But if they were to have a chance, it would have to be if Mahomes didn't play.
Kevin?
I agree and disagree. Like, let's be real. Josh Allen was an MVP candidate for a lot of the season. And they lost by 9 points during the regular season? Like,
They played?
They played. The Bills lost by 9 points.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They had a chance for sure. Like, sure, you were kind of hoping Patrick Mahomes was concussed. And if he wasn't, you were hoping he had a bad game, which has he even never had one in the NFL? He's 25.
No, he's never lost by more than a possession. He's never lost by more than one possession as a starter, which is just an absurd fact.
Yeah, he's a young goat, and they had a chance if Josh Allen blew up and threw for 400 yards. But you can say they had a chance, but we all knew who was going to win.
I mean, I think no one really gave the Chiefs defense enough credit on this game either. I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills offense didn't look 100% like they have looked in the previous games. But the Chiefs defense...
Matthew is a monster.
Yeah, the Chiefs defense really kind of locked down on the Buffalo offense. I think Stephon Diggs... Well, you also had... That just came out, Cole Beasley played with a broken leg, which is... I mean, props to that guy. But you're not 100% there. And then you had Stephon Diggs, who is their biggest target. So you're obviously going to double there. And besides that, your running backs aren't really any good. And I think the Bills' offense just kind of got figured out by the Chiefs' defense down the line. Yeah, they were good from weeks 1 to 12 because no one really knew the dynamic of that offense. But until it got figured out, I think that was their downfall. They're kind of they're a one-trick pony with Stephon Diggs. I mean, yeah, you have Josh Allen who can sling it, and he can also run his feet. But if you really break it down, Stephon Diggs is your only big weapon.
The Bills need one more great offensive threat. They're like, get the attention of Stephon Diggs, open up the field.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I feel like that person for them, instead of, like, a Travis Kelce, should probably be a running back. Like, not many offenses are going to be able to just, like, pretty much completely negate the running game whenever they see fit and still get a touchdown at will. Like, that's like the Chiefs are like the only team in the NFL I've ever seen that can do that. And I don't know, for me, like, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Neither of them are going to be that thing.
They're
need a
very similar
full
type
on
backs
RB1.
too, because you
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
I mean, if you want to compare it, being Pats fans, if you want to compare it, they're both kind of James White-esque players. You both have they both have that lateral ability to catch the ball. Like no one's bulldozing like Derrick Henry. No one's going north to south like he is. They both are just kind of that side to side back.
I would almost say they're more like Sony. Like they're kind of just like middle of the road, like good solid first, second round. Yeah, good solid first or second round running backs, but like they're never gonna be that like number one option that's really gonna like tempt you to change a defensive scheme. That's the big difference. So just for me, like to answer like one thing I was looking at like prior to the game, like I was like, oh god, like Mahomes probably might not be 100%. He, looked like he was he was screwed up. Like, did you guys see when he came up after that play? Like, he didn't know where he was. Like, that was.
Oh no, that man was not on this planet. When he came up after that,
he was not on the
planet. Guy was just not on planet Earth. So
I saw that play, and I also was looking at the spread. It had been like 7 weeks since the Chiefs have like covered their spread. Like that means they're not winning by a lot. Yeah. So I saw that, and then I saw that Josh Allen, like you said, Kevin, MVP candidate, like this could really, could upset him. But and then like I remember I was sitting there watching like the pregame, like 2 minutes before, saw my guy Tony Romo and Words of Silk, Jim Nance standing there just, spewing gold. And then I literally looked at my brother Max. I looked at him. I was like, there's zero chance the Bills win this game. Like that, I just looked at him and I had a gut feeling like, and it was over from the start. Even when the Bills were up 9-0, I didn't think there was a chance in hell that they.
So this might be a hot take, but I think the Chiefs are almost the anti-Chargers, because you take a team like the Chargers and you take a team like the Chiefs, who they're pretty decent teams. But the thing that separates the Chiefs from the Chargers is they just have that one-up in coaching. They won't. The Chargers tend to lose those last-second drive, fourth quarter. Like I saw a stat, I don't know where I saw it a couple of days ago. It was like something about the Chargers losing. If they didn't lose like their one possession games, they would have been like 12-4 or whatever, like something ridiculous
this
like
year?
that. This year and last year.
See, I don't think that's built to last, though, because last year you had Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers is just a choke artist in himself. Like, there's no other way to put it. And then now you have Justin Herbert is going to be good. Like, that was his rookie year. You give him some weapons, they're a force. I'm telling you.
Top 5 rookie season of all time that Justin Herbert had, and he didn't even start all 16 games. Guy was an absolute beast.
This man just said the only difference between the Chargers and the Chiefs is the coaching staff.
No. I'm saying like pure record and like pure scores. Like I'm saying the Chiefs are the anti-Chargers, meaning in the fact that they can convert and finish those tight games, while the Chargers just choke and crumble at the end.
I mean, look, even when they didn't have Mahomes, they were able to stop. What team were they playing?
The Browns.
Yeah, they were able to stop the Browns from getting the ball back. We don't have to go into the fact that the Browns should have won that game if all correct penalties were called, but
I mean, the NFL really just didn't want to see the Browns succeed.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but like you look at that for years, like it happened like twice to the Saints where they should have been in the final game, and
the Saints have also gotten screwed by the refs.
Yeah.
But looking at the NFC side of games this weekend, I think there was a lot of speculation that came out of it and a lot of debates that came to a rest with the whole Brady and Rodgers debate.
Yeah, this is true.
I think Brady, I mean, as a Pats fan, he's always been the GOAT. And I think to all the people who outside of New England who don't like Tom Brady and the Patriots, I think being on the Buccaneers, as much as me as a Patriots fan didn't want to see the Bucs make the Super Bowl, only the fact that I'm a Patriots fan before I'm a Brady fan, and I didn't want people to say, oh, the Pats needed Brady to succeed or vice versa. I have to root for them over the Chiefs, first of all, but it also cements everyone else across the nation that Tom Brady is in fact the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, and like for me, I don't want to hear anything about the weapons that the Bucks had either, because like you cannot nobody can tell me with a straight face that you put Jameis Winston under center in that situation and they're in this game right now against the Chiefs. There's zero way that Jameis Winston makes the playoffs and goes 11-5, and
You
then
don't think he
two
makes the
beats.
playoffs with this team?
No, I'm saying he doesn't go 11-5, and then I'm telling you he doesn't beat Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers on their home turf. There's absolutely zero chance of
Yeah,
that.
fair.
I will say the Buccaneers got hot at the exact moment they had to get hot. They go weeks 1 through 6, or 1 through even like 8 maybe. They looked like a chicken with their head cut off. They had no idea what they were doing. They had no team chemistry. They couldn't get anything clicking. And then as soon as like that Packers game, when they played in the regular season, that kind of I felt like was the turning point for that team, where everything kind of came together and they just started shitting on people. And which is what you expected from them all season. With the weapons that they have, they should never have even been 11-5. They should be 14-2 or 13-3 at worst.
True.
But I think mean any team with a new quarterback right away isn't gonna be awesome. Look at the Pats and Newton. They kind of were okay for a couple games and then it fell apart because they didn't have that team chemistry. First couple weeks everyone's gonna be kind of getting their feet on the ground, like getting their shit together. But then after weeks 4 or 5, you really start to see what teams are going to be legit and what teams are going to be fake contenders. And I thought Newton with the Patriots, once week 4 or 5 came around, you're like, oh, this isn't what we thought it was.
It wasn't even just that they were like I don't know. For me, it's just like for years you watch the Patriots and like with Josh McDaniels, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick, like the three of them, like it doesn't matter who is the wide receivers or the running backs or anything, like their offense was just smooth. Like whether it's dump offs or like mix and matching plays, like they knew how to get the ball down the field. This is the first year where I've ever watched a Patriots game where I like go into every drive thinking like, yeah, could be a 3 and out. Like their offense was so beyond choppy. And
when your best player is your punter and your punt returner,
and you have a quarterback, you have a former quarterback as your wide receiver 1, which they've had for years, and Edelman too, but like I think it's a little different.
It wasn't this could be a 3 and out. It was odds are this is a 3 and out.
It's more likely to be a punt than it is points, which that's not going to help. But back to the NFC Championship game, I think Brady really proved with weapons. Even without weapons, which Brady has not always had the weapons that he's got on the Bucs. He's had good teams where he's had good weapons, but I don't think Brady's ever had a team as dominant as he had on the offensive side of the ball.
No, he's never had Gronk for one to help with the run blocking
and a fully
when he's on
Gronk.
the field. A fully healthy Gronk. Gronk looks good.
Which Brady has had a healthy Gronk. I'm not saying that, but Gronk looked good for most of the season. A lot of people say Gronk needs to produce more on the offensive side of the ball, but I really think
not
Gronk,
what he was.
Even in the last 5 years,
the thing is
nobody more into a blocking tight end.
That's the thing. He's an amazing blocker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stick him on the line.
And so you have Gronkowski, you have Antonio Brown, which you had in the Patriots for one game.
Yeah, but
tore it up.
I don't even count because he didn't even play in that game. All you really need is Godwin and Evans.
You have
those two
Chris
are
Godwin
electric.
and Mike Evans, and then 2 legit running back ones in Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones Jr.
I still think they need to use Rojo more because there's Fournette cannot catch the football.
Yeah, but Rojo was hurt. No, didn't he have a thigh injury or something?
I don't know, but they need to get somebody else catching plays in the backfield.
His thigh was stopping him from catching the football. Yeah, nuts.
And then you flip to the Packers now. You have
guys
like Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Rodgers, and they came up short. Did Aaron Rodgers look anywhere near his top 5 games of the season this game? No.
I'm telling you, they never expected that game to go down the way it did. The Bucs, for every single week in that season, even though they had good games, they never had good first quarters and first halves. Not once. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of that first half, Tom Brady had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that game looked over. But nobody said it was over because they had Aaron Rodgers. But
The reason the Packers lost
It was
that
over.
game is because they could not capitalize on 3 interceptions on 3 straight drives.
Yeah, that
You
was
get 3
insane.
picks on 3 straight drives and can't score at least 17 points out of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
come on.
exactly. Like that's the thing. If Brady does that against Mahomes, that's 21 points. Game over.
That's
Like,
a done deal.
That's why I'm
The-
picking the Chiefs.
And it's the Packers offense carried their freaking weight. It was the Packers the Packers defense carried their weight. The Packers offense is what lost them that game.
Yeah.
All right. So probably the most controversial question of the NFC Championship game. We're going to start with Kevin here. Who's to blame for the loss? The coach Matt LaFleur or the quarterback Aaron Rodgers?
Okay, it's Rodgers' fault for putting the coach in that position to make that call, field goal, or go for it. But at the end of the day, it's Matt LaFleur's fault for going with that field goal. Any person watching that game could have made that call. You go for it. You have Aaron Rodgers under center. There's 2 minutes left in the game. You really think Tom Brady's not going to get a first down?
Yeah, that's the part. I don't like you're Aaron Rodgers for whatever. Like you should be able to make that play, put the ball in your best player's hands. I get that, but on the other side of the ball, you have somebody who in big playoff games has had how many times where he's able to get down the field for a field goal or touchdown when need be. You're telling me he's not going to get one single first down? I don't care if you have 3 timeouts. I don't care how much time's left on the clock. You should have gone for that.
Bare minimum.
It's also
a field goal.
It's also the NFC Championship game. If you're gonna play safe in week 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
it's do or die. Like, how do you not?
Yeah, that play was now or never, and he just decided, never.
There was 2 minutes left in the game. That's absurd. Yeah.
In any game, I've played in playoff games before, and the first thing that you say to your teammates or your coach says to you at the beginning of the game is, "It's give everything you have because this is do or die."
Yeah.
It's do or die, and they died.
The other part that's on Rodgers is that after the game was over, Rodgers said, "Oh, I thought I had 4 downs," but like bullshit. He thought if you're the player of Rodgers' magnitude and you have that running lane that he did on 2nd and 3rd down, you're telling me you don't want 3rd down or 4th down on the 2-yard line instead of the 8? That ball's on the 2-yard line. There's zero even question in LaFleur's head what he's doing. You had to run for that ball.
Rodgers trying to force a couple passes that just weren't there on that drive.
Nothing, not or there, which is like
coverage. Yeah.
What I saw out of Rodgers, I think, on that drive, and I never see out of Brady, which is what separates the two of them, is Rodgers looked legitimately panicked on that last drive of the game. He didn't look comfortable in the pocket. He didn't look comfortable with his decisions. And I think that's what separates being a great player and being the GOAT.
The other thing though, like, you know how much more pressure is on Rodgers to play that game? Like, Tom Brady's got 6 rings, 9 conference championships going into this game. And then you have somebody who just decided to leave his dynasty team and then just trudge his team to the NFC Championship game. And to the only player that people really say in this era is better than you, he's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, I'm going to beat you in this game. If I was Rodgers, I'd be rattled. And he looked rattled.
Do you really think he was thinking all that going into that game? Do you really
It's hard not to. He's human. I don't care who they are. They're human.
Yeah. Look at Rodgers' interview. He's probably clinically depressed. He's on something.
Oh, yeah. That guy looked miserable. Well, and then, of course, the media for you, it takes one little comment he says, and it just blows out of proportion with the whole where will Rodgers go? I mean, that's even I was watching the Pat McAfee show the other day, and he basically said he's like, I'll probably be back in Green Bay, like without anything crazy happening, I'll be back. And
he's the MVP of this league.
Like, I think he deserves to be. It's either between him or Derrick Henry, and I think
Derrick Henry.
Dude,
I know you
King Henry. Crown the king.
Dude had almost 50 touchdowns and 5 picks. Like
2,000 yards. No one rushes for 2,000 yards. That doesn't happen.
No, he played out of his shoes, absolutely.
I just try to look at it like, what does most valuable player mean? Who is the most valuable player to your team? There are multiple quarterbacks that I think could be on the Packers and take them where they did. Because let's just be real, where they took them.
I think you have to look at MVP. I think you have to look at MVP as a 16-game season. I don't think you look at MVP going into the playoffs, because playoffs is a totally different beast than the normal NFL regular season.
For me, though, like the Titans would never be the team they are without Derrick Henry. Like, look, when Ryan Tannehill was always a decent quarterback. When he had Devontae Parker and him on the Dolphins, and they were never good. Now you have AJ Brown and him, and you add Derrick Henry to that. They're a force. They're almost a playoff contender and like a threat in the playoffs every year, and it's because of Derrick Henry. That's why he's my MVP.
But I feel like it's not most valuable player on the team. I feel like it's the most valuable player of the league. Like, if the league can pick one player to put on their team this last year, Aaron Rodgers.
Picking Henry. I'm picking Henry.
48 touchdowns.
I mean, also, like you say, pick any player. I'm picking Mahomes because
fair, yeah.
No,
fair.
I'm not.
I don't
I don't even think Mahomes is in this race at all. I think
he's in it. He's the third one out.
You pick him over Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
You would go. I think I'd go Josh Allen first. I think they put up similar numbers, and Josh Allen had a way worse of a team than Mahomes does. Like, weapon-wise, I think Josh Allen has nowhere near
they're crazy though. Stephon Diggs is almost, I'd say, almost as good as Tyreek Hill. Like,
okay, then who do you have for Travis Kelce? Who do you have for, like, the Chiefs are just more of a well-rounded team than
Travis Kelce is the only other one, because I'd argue that the receiving core total of the Bills is just as good, because besides Hill, you have Harbin and Watkins. John Brown and Cole Beasley are just as good as those two, I think.
Didn't John Brown miss a bunch of games, though?
Yeah, he did.
Which is even more of a credit to Josh Allen.
I'm looking at the stats right now, and when you look at it neck and neck, Pat Mahomes has him by an edge. 38-6 instead of 37-10, and like 300 more yards. But it's
also it's the thing with Mahomes is like he doesn't get to play 4 quarters of football, because how many games in the season were his stats pretty much done by middle of the third quarter because they
not
were
that many
because
there were so many close games. There was a lot of close games on the Chiefs this year. I think Mahomes had to. I mean, yeah, there was obviously some that were just done before they started, but there was a lot of games that went well into the fourth quarter that you said, "Oh, blank team still has a chance." We all know they didn't have a chance, but just to make it interesting, you say they have a chance, because if you're down 10 points in the fourth quarter, you're not done. Like, you are very much in that game. Mid fourth quarter, down 10, you're in it, unless you're playing the Chiefs this year when you have no chance. But against a normal team, if you're, say it's like the Texans versus like the Titans, down 10 points mid fourth quarter, that's a winnable game for either team.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Final stats: Aaron Rodgers has 10 more touchdowns than the next best quarterback and 1 less pick, and his completion percentage is 4% higher. That's unreal. And he's, 37?
No, yeah. I agree with you, Kev, that Aaron Rodgers is MVP this year.
Far above out of the quarterbacks. Derrick Henry's a whole separate conversation. It's almost impossible.
If I had a vote, I'm picking Henry.
I mean, if you want to talk about running backs, Derrick Henry comes nowhere close to the second best person, which I would say would be Dalvin Cook. As an RB2 this year in the MVP race, Dalvin Cook has to be 2. And I think Derrick Henry just blows him out of the water.
He averaged, 5 yards per carry, Derrick Henry?
Something stupid
real.
like that.
Yeah.
I think the only person healthy, I don't know, the thing with the running backs, though, is you had Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, who weren't healthy at all. You throw the two of them into that race, Derrick Henry is probably a lot closer. Christian McCaffrey is that entire offense.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, you're right. As
when
a Panthers
he plays,
fan,
he gets
I want to say
80% of the touches.
He averaged 5.4 yards per carry.
I mean, Mike Davis held his own,
Derrick
and
Henry.
then, yeah, he's nasty. Panthers just sucked regardless this year. I think even with McCaffrey, you're getting a couple more wins. You're still not making the playoffs.
Fair.
But, I mean, regardless of what happens this year, I think you have to put an asterisk at the end of this year's Super Bowl winner. Because...
Really?
I absolutely think so. Because you're not getting...
I felt the least affected.
You're getting COVID... Remember, like, week 2, 3, 4, 5? You had, like, 7 games or a stupid amount of games get rescheduled.
But what's the asterisk?
COVID
what's
year.
next to that asterisk?
It's a fair playing field.
Meaning what? Yeah, they all don't.
Meaning you don't have teams playing at their full potential, or you have You had games getting
you have all
rescheduled to Tuesday afternoons, which doesn't happen. You have opt-outs from every single team in the league. Some
Exactly,
affected
every
way
single team
more
in
than
the
others.
league. So it's an even
It's
yeah.
most
I don't put any asterisks on any of the teams or any of the leagues really, because you all have a level playing field. The MLB was 60 games; they all played 60 games. The NBA was in a bubble; they all were in a
no.
bubble.
The NBA is
And
the most
NFL has
legit
no
one you have,
fans.
but you still have
They were in
NFL.
a bubble. They had no fans. They were basically playing in a health.
But you have
gym.
healthy teams. I'm saying in the NFL, you had teams playing when someone, say this random guy in the practice squad gets freaking COVID, your whole running back room is now out for next week. Look at the Saints. Look at the Ravens against the Steelers on that week. You had backups with backups on backups playing against each other because someone just happened to get COVID. Which
you say asterisk, what do you mean? Like, what's like? You're saying it's not as valuable.
I just think you have to mark that it was a weird ass season. I think you have to put something.
Everyone's going to remember that. I don't think you can undervalue this, though. The NFL did an amazing job of making it almost a seamless transition. Like, at this point, I almost look at like
almost
COVID
getting canceled
cases.
like week 3.
I look at COVID cases like injuries.
Yeah, I mean, look at
so
the teams.
You have to adjust.
Look at the teams in the Super Bowl. Without
That's
COVID, who were the teams you'd pick? Bucks,
absolutely
Chiefs.
Those two.
Oh yeah,
and they're all healthy for the final game. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And
if
you're
Mahomes
going to put
COVID
an asterisk on it, if you're going to put an asterisk on it, the Bucks would be playing a Super Bowl at their home stadium with fans.
Yeah,
and now they're not. Like, there's the asterisk, in my opinion.
That's
I
fair.
just think it goes a little beyond fan. Like, when the Saints' whole running back room is just knocked out, when the Denver Broncos have to use a practice squad quarterback they picked up 2 days ago to play a game, you have to
that was an isolated case, though.
You have to at least acknowledge the fact that that's not right. And in a lot of cases, you had teams missing the playoffs by one game. Look at the Miami Dolphins. I don't know exactly how impacted they were by COVID, but you have games that affect other games. You have to. And you never know who could have made a run. I think, yes, in the long run, I think it still would have been the Chiefs and someone from the NFC in the top 3 spots. But you have to look at the season as a whole and say, yes, COVID affected it to the nth degree because you had things like I just said, opt-outs and whole rooms getting wiped, games getting rescheduled, players not having enough time. I mean, we'll never know because we're not NFL players, obviously. But I feel like as days go on, players are going to come out and be like, yeah, this season was like whack as shit because we had people just dropping like flies and games getting rescheduled and it's not even being our faults. And I think you just have to some degree, say something about that.
Yeah, I acknowledge the fact that it was probably a hard season for them to, like there's a lot of mental toughness involved. I just don't think that it's fair to, say after the team wins, like, yeah, but remember,
I'm not illegitimizing whoever wins the Super Bowl. I think it's not easy to win the Super Bowl no matter what conditions. But I'm just saying, I think you have to. I'm saying you have to put something there. Like, you can't just say blank is Super Bowl 53 winners. You have to say blank is Super Bowl 53, right?
I feel like it's on asterisks.
55? Oh, Pats won 53.
The Bucks won despite coronavirus. They pushed through. They had the most depth of any team. That's probably why they're in the Super Bowl, because when someone got sick, next guy come up. Like, the team with the best depth this year.
But they also weren't really affected that much, I feel like. Like, Tampa was pretty good about like just staying, which is also a credit to them for staying healthy, for staying
especially staying healthy in Florida, where they literally don't even think it exists.
Yeah, true. But I think you have to say blank team is the Super Bowl 55 winner during coronavirus. Like, I think you just have to at least nudge coronavirus in there because this season.
I think that's disrespect. That's me.
I would do it for every single league, every single team. The Lakers, I would absolutely do that for them too.
Absolutely not. I don't do that for the Dodgers, and they played a 60-game season. I don't do that for the Lakers. They all are on a level playing field. They all have the same opportunity to get the virus. They have the same opportunity to play the number of games. They have the same opportunity to play with the same number of fans. They have the same number of players there. It's
And look who's
all a
won.
level playing field. And look who won.
Lakers,
The Dodgers, the Lakers,
Chiefs,
and then the
Bucks.
Chiefs. Yeah, those are who you'd expect.
No,
Exactly.
I
It's
totally
who wins
agree.
every year.
I totally agree with that. I just think you have to at least acknowledge like that it was a fucky situation.
For me, I don't care what the year is. Nobody was beating the Lakers last year. Nobody was beating the Dodgers.
No. The Lakers,
they were both the most those are two of the most ridiculous LA teams. LeBron pretty much looking like his MVP self with Anthony Davis and that bench. It was over from the start.
Oh yeah. No, I do totally agree. The Lakers and even the Dodgers were just
the Dodgers were ridiculous. The Dodgers still are going to be ridiculous this year.
Shout out to the Tampa Bay Rays though. Because they've always sucked.
All right, so we got time for just a quick question, and then our Super Bowl picks will be in. We're gonna do Super Bowl picks, and we're gonna every time we do this, we're gonna pick something to make a decision on, and then we'll all have like a record attached to it. So and then at the end,
fair enough.
So many episodes, it'll be kind of like a race. So the first one will be Super Bowl predictions, but this is entertain the question because this is when we were texting about like a ton. Say the whole Aaron Rodgers rumor was still available, that trade rumors are in talk with teams. Kevin, this was your question. Do you want Stafford or Rodgers on the Pats next season? You can start.
Are we disregarding the fact that I'm a Pats fan who has a history with Aaron Rodgers? Like all personal feelings aside, Aaron Rodgers.
Because I'm not going to be able to put my personal feelings aside. That's the problem. I will throw up seeing Rodgers in a uniform. I probably would have to quit being a football fan if Aaron Rodgers went to the Patriots for the years he is on because I can't root for him.
All right, yeah, I mean, okay, for longevity's sake and for your sake, I'll say Matthew
No,
Stafford.
so let's do 2 points. Let's do directly next season, and then let's do longevity's sake. Okay, because I think that could change your answer.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers next season, Matthew Stafford longevity. Matthew Stafford had an unreal season. He threw for what? I think 4,200 yards, something crazy.
He's the most underrated quarterback in the league every year.
Oh, by far.
He threw for 4,000 yards and had a 65% completion percentage, and had 26 and 10. Those are
while having 2 coaches in the season, because Matt Patricia gets fired mid-season, and he has
Matt Patricia's ass, horrible head coach.
But now back on the Patriots.
Yeah, but he's good. He's good in the Belichick system.
Yeah,
just
like Bill O'Brien.
So do we think? So how do you think that conversation went? Real quick before I give my take, do we think that when Matt Patricia saying, "Hey Bill, I need a job," or is that Bill Belichick saying, "I know you, I like you, come back"?
I think this was Bill Belichick pulling a Thanos and being like, "You couldn't live with your own failure, and where did that bring you?" Back to me. I think that's pretty much how the conversation went. I bet Belichick just sent him that clip, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll take the job." And that was
grovel at my feet. Yeah, kiss the ring, he says.
Yeah.
So back to my opinion. I think if Aaron Rodgers can stay like he did this year, I think short term, I'd take Aaron Rodgers. And then I think long term, Matt Stafford is obviously a few years younger. And I just think Matt Stafford's a freaking dog. I mean, that guy has got. Have y'all seen that clip? I'm sure of when it's his rookie season, he like dislocates his shoulder, and still throws a touchdown to win the game in the next play. Like that's just you can't teach that. That's
dude, he was throwing no look passes before Mahomes made them cool. Like,
but so is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers has done that for years.
Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think when's the last time Aaron Rodgers did that? Yeah.
Rodgers is a cocksucker.
He does it all the time. He did it He did it in the freaking Saints in the Bucks game. He threw a no look pass. I think I do still believe Matthew Stafford would be a better option for us in the future.
I agree, but
he's got heart you just can't teach.
While we're talking about Patriots, what they should do for next season, I don't think we can let Bill off the hook talking about the Bucks and then Patriots off season. I saw Stephen A. say this, and I 100% agree with this. Brady making the Super Bowl with another team is no reflection on Bill Belichick, the coach. Like, he had a tough year, adjusting, like Kevin used to in text, like, totally different system, totally different quarterback, like, nothing's on him. Nothing's on Bill Belichick, the coach, but Bill Belichick, the GM, as a Patriots fan, I am in serious question with, like, taking N'Keal Harry, like all these different decisions matched up, like wanting Brady out long before last season happened. Like, Bill's got some explaining to do on that end. So, like, the decisions he makes now could be very important.
I agree.
For his legacy.
This season,
next couple seasons are key for Bill.
Yeah, I totally agree. Next couple seasons, as GM Bill Belichick,
and as coach,
coach too, because if he has a couple more bad seasons without Brady, that's over. Yeah,
you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? And I think Coach Bill Belichick is cemented. I think GM Bill Belichick needs to get the right guys in place. I mean, he also acknowledged that we have no cap space this season.
I think he's cemented as a great coach, but also if he sucks the next couple of years and then retires, everyone's going to have that in their minds. He was only good because of Tom Brady.
Everyone always says that Brady needed Bill, but right now everyone's thinking, does Bill need Brady? And the next couple of seasons are definitely going to show proof of that, or if they're just good separate and they were, a perfect storm. Yeah.
But you also have no one on the Patriots. You have no star on New England right now.
I think Bill doesn't need Brady.
There were years that they never did. There were years that they won where there was no real star. There were years that Brady made people stars. That's the thing.
Yes, that is true. I agree with that.
I don't think Edelman's ever. We'll see, but years to come, I don't think Edelman's ever going to be the same. And I know he's old now, but without Brady, I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to really be a factor.
But Edelman had the most receiving yards in one game against Seattle with Cam Newton throwing to him. Brady's never thrown 179 yards to Edelman before, which is that just a fluke? It could have been, but Edelman also got hurt. But he also got hurt right afterwards, so we'll never know.
Yeah,
I think it depends. Right. I just think the Patriots are meant to have a Brady-style quarterback. I think the Patriots with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick are meant to have a traditional style of offense. I think with Cam Newton this year, they tried way too hard to be the Panthers. They were the New England Panthers this year because they were playing to Cam Newton's strengths and they weren't playing to their strengths as a team.
No strengths.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to let Cam Newton off the hook either, because you put MVP Cam Newton in that position. You have somebody who can throw the ball extremely well, not Brady-esque, but can still throw the ball very well. And then when needed, he's going to get those yards in positions where Brady wouldn't. But he didn't have that yet this year. He was nothing. He was a sorry excuse for himself.
I mean, his completion percentage this year was 6% better than it's been ever in his career, which is such a weird stat to look at. But
his probably average. Look at his average yards in past year per completion. There's no way. I bet it's probably like 10 to 15 yards lower.
The weirdest part about Cam Newton
huge
this year,
deep threat.
The weirdest part about him is his deep balls were better than his freaking his checkdowns. He was throwing balls at people's feet from 3 yards away, but he was throwing 40-yard dimes. That was the weirdest thing to watch as a fan, because you're like, all right, I can make a throw from here to 5 yards down the field, or not even down the field, 5 yards to my left, because they ran so many screens. But yeah, he's throwing absolute dots 45 yards down the field. So that was just a weird thing to watch as a fan, and especially it was just so confusing, because you're like, why are you able to do this, and why are you doing this well when we've never had a deep threat as the Patriots? I mean, that's true. In the last 5 seasons, our deep threats have been minimal.
Yeah.
And now you signed Damiere Byrd to be that deep threat who couldn't do anything. You draft N'Keal Harry to be your next Gronkowski, essentially, by winning those 50-50 jump balls, and both of them didn't really pan out. So, I mean, I get the idea that they were going for.
I still don't forgive. I don't forgive him for N'Keal Harry. We could have had DK Metcalf. That's the deep threat, 50-50 jump ball you're looking for.
Go back to 2017. Everyone was concerned about Metcalf's health, and they were like, "Is his back going
to stand up?" Not the Seahawks, though.
Well, yeah, but not even. What was he? 4th rounder, right? 2nd rounder, 4th rounder.
I don't know. I always credit the Seahawks, though. Say what you want about Pete Carroll, the man has balls.
Yeah, right. He has balls. It wasn't a sure thing. I think he gambled and won, just like the Ravens did on Lamar Jackson. I think they gambled and they won. The
Pats
Patriots
could have also
gambled
had Lamar
and they lost
Jackson.
on N'Keal Harry.
Think about that. Patriots
What?
let Lamar Jackson pass.
Right.
Think about
Every
think
team
about
let Lamar Jackson pass.
but think about Lamar Jackson being groomed by Brady to throw the football for years, and then the year Brady leaves, having him there instead of Cam Newton, groomed into a Tom Brady
but didn't he
offense.
go 31 and Pats had 32? Like, didn't the Patriots not even have the chance to get him?
I think the Pats had a pick that he
Hit me with
was
that.
on the table.
Lamar Jackson draft. Hold, can you look it up?
Yeah.
Because I thought I'm pretty sure the Pats were 32 and he went like 31 or something. So I think if the Patriots were, if he was still
Jackson
on the
was
clock,
32nd.
He was 32nd.
He was drafted 32nd. Yeah.
And
he was drafted the last pick.
And the Pats didn't have a pick in the first round, I don't think, right? Or did they that year? Because I have a feeling that they didn't, and I feel like if he was still on the table, they would have snagged him. I also believe that the Jimmy Garoppolo is the perfect situation for the Patriots. Like 3 years too soon. If Jimmy Garoppolo came in like last year, I think the Patriots would have been set, and none of this Brady Belichick drama would have come out. I mean, the second half of this book wouldn't be a thing because Garoppolo would have easily transitioned to where he is now. But he just came into the student.
I don't want him back.
You don't want him back?
I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying
he's overrated too.
We'll see. I don't know. Dude, the Pats did not have a selection in the first 2 rounds of 2017.
Right. So I'm saying I think if the Patriots had the chance to get him, I think they would have.
That's on Stephen A. Then Stephen A. gave me that thing, and he was wrong. So
yeah.
All right, we're running out of time here. So
that's Super
Bowl picks. Start, Kevin. You can start. I'll write them down too.
I don't want to bet against Tom Brady. I don't.
Are we doing winner and score?
Nah, just winner.
Just winner. I'm gonna go Chiefs.
All right, Kevin with KC.
Young goat gets old goat by like a touchdown or 2. Yeah.
So Chiefs are giving 3.5. So which
we're
means,
not doing spread though.
No, I know. I'm just thinking out loud. I think I have to go Tampa Bay playing at home. I think just have to. I think
Riley goes Tampa Bay.
In their home stadium, and Brady quoting that because he already has.
Yeah.
To everyone else in the league, I think I have to go that way.
Tom Brady, I think he's making too many mistakes right now. He had 3 interceptions, 3 picks, and they won.
He did.
Patrick Mahomes isn't going to throw 3 picks. Tom Brady just might.
It's the thing about the Chiefs is you can't kick field goals and expect to win games. You have to be scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, score
touchdowns.
And
I think that they will score touchdowns again.
We'll see. We'll see.
It is very hard for me to see anybody beating the Chiefs this year. But if any player on the face of the planet is going to beat them, it's going to be Big Goat TB12. And so I'm taking Tampa Bay too.
Taking Tampa? I want to see Tampa win, I do. But Chiefs are going to get it.
I saw Tony Romo say this is basically like Michael Jordan playing in the finals against LeBron James.
I saw that.
That's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. And that goes back to what I was telling you guys. Like, if Brady wins this game, Mahomes is in trouble, legacy-wise, long-term, I think.
Yeah, I feel like if Mahomes gets this one, he's slowly climbing up that ladder.
Yeah,
it's going to be the fading away of Tom and the emergence of Patrick
Mahomes is already the freaking the face of the NFL right now.
Yes.
And
okay, sure.
All right, one more thing before we go, and it's been bugging me for ever since this stupid thing came out. What is the NFL's obsession with the gritty? I just don't understand it. It's a touchdown dance, and like every social media post pre-game is someone doing that stupid dance, and I just don't get the obsession with it.
Yeah, get those social media people out of there.
It's just, I don't know. It might just be a me thing, but I'm like,
I think that I'm with you, Kevin. I think they need a new social media team.
Yeah,
sign me up.
They're brutal.
All right, boys.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's all the time we got for today.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Until next time, everyone. Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.